Welcome back. Well, this is our second project weekend, and it's our second day of the second project weekend. And as I mentioned last project weekend, the reason I'm doing this is because I have a backlog of projects. I've been doing projects, as you know, every week we've got at least one little hands-on project, but it's turning out that I have more projects than time to do them in. So I thought we'd just put the brakes on it, get some of these projects done, because a lot of them are projects you have asked for, and I do want to see if we can give you what you want. And it's your channel, after all, you get to say. And so we're just going to do this until I can see some light at the end of the tunnel and feel like I've got a handle on the projects, and I'm no longer looking and just seeing nothing but projects stacking up. So today we are going to do Tidbit tray toppers, and this was a request from several of our viewers. So stay tuned. Okay, well, before we get started, let me show you this. This is a cat toy that Lisa from DesertDragonworks sent for Audie for Christmas, and he loves this. So if he comes and starts poking around in the dishes on this table, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to toss it in the other room, and let him go run and kill it. So finally, I have a photobomb kitty plan. Now, project. This is one of the pieces we're going to be working on today. And let me show you how this came about. We did this little guy. Now, he is not a salt shaker, although, as you can see, he's just about salt shaker size. He is a little hollow figurine with a little squeeze box. It's not an accordion. I don't know what they call those. It's like an accordion, but it's not. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not very musical. But I do know what an accordion looks like. So, we have this little guy, and he had a little hole, because it's hollow, little hole in the bottom. And in order to drop our fitting in, and we'll talk about the fitting in a minute, all I really had to do was just take a Dremel bit, a diamond bit, and just sort of grind out that hole and make it a little larger, large enough for our fitting to pop in. And then I secured it with hot glue. And the reason I used hot glue is we may want to take it apart at some future date. And hot glue is very easy to pull something apart when it's been glued with hot melt glue. So, it's our little guy. And then we have viewers say, well, what happens when it's the other way around? And you guys are great for that. It's like, I miss the obvious sometimes. What happens when the hole is way too big? Now, here is our hole. Seriously big hole. And here is the little reducer with collar or reducer with shoulder. And don't worry, I know you can't see it, it's tiny. I will show you a picture of this. And that is what is going to allow us, because it's threaded, it's going to allow us to turn this piece into either a lamp finial if we wanted, or a tidbit topper, which is in fact what's going to happen to this piece. So I gave it some thought, and I came up with a number of ideas for dealing with this, and eventually a very simple one occurred to me. This is an 1¼ inch washer. Now, you may recall that in combination with 1.5-inch washers, we were able to use these two together to turn an Uno shade into a regular spider shade for a lamp. That was a fun project. And let's come back here. These are cheap. I get these little guys at Walmart. These are 5 for 97 cents. The larger ones, the 1.5-inch ones, are 3 for 97 cents. Usually when I find myself at Walmart, I will just scoot over and grab a package, whenever it occurs to me, because they're very, very handy. Large washers like this tend not, at least not in my toolbox, tend not to be used to simply separate the surface from the nut the way most people use them. I use them as sizing devices. I use them to take a hole this big and turn it into a hole this big. So our little reducer with collar, we drop that right in, and oh look, see the way that fits right in there? It drops in and the shoulder rests right on top and it won't go through. Now, of course, if we tried to do this here, it's in there for good. So this together is going to allow us to pop that reducer into the hole. So this is what the piece looks like. Let me tell you how we got here. Dropped the reducer into the washer, and then E6000. So let's tell the E6000 story. Some of you will recall the lamp that we stripped the paint off it with oven cleaner. And I have this fantastic finial for it. And the lamp has a flat profile and the finial has a flat profile. And the lamp had some nice curving arms at the shoulder, and so does the finial. And it had an urn design, and so does the finial. And this was perfect, and I broke it. I picked it up in my hands. All right, baby, excuse me. Yes, I know we're telling the story, but hey, go get it. Good boy. All right, see, that worked. And pardon the camera jiggle. He just tore past that camera. So anyway, broke it. I was just heartbroken. And viewers started writing in saying, you've got to try E6000. Well, I did. Oh, look. So the finial will be able to go out with that lamp, which is good, because this is not the kind of finial you're going to find at, Kmart or, Sears. This is a very old finial. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's one of a kind, although it might be, because it's made out of that monkey metal, and those things just shattered very easily. So it could be very hard to find another one of these. Would I expect to be able to find another one? No. It's like a lightning strike when you're dealing with something very old like this. So E6000 saved the day. The downside, 3 days to cure. So, you get it set up, you glue, and then you're going to wait a good 72 hours before it's fully set up. So, you're back. It didn't work the way I thought it would. Okay. I know the little tail is there. So we pop our reducer with collar into the washer, secure it with E6000. Now, I get mine it's in a package of 4 little tubes. The reason I do this, oh my honey, the reason I do this is because no matter how good you take care of your glue, it's like no matter how nicely you treat it, as soon as you open your container of glue, in this case it's a tube, sometimes it's a bottle, the glue starts to age. And I find that it's very rare for me to use enough glue so that I'm not throwing out at least half a tube or half a bottle. So with something like this, I'm going to get 6 or 8 uses out of it. Then it's going to be too old. What are we doing? It's going to be too old. I don't know what to do. We're just going to have to give him his way. So I'm going to have to throw it away. So better I throw away half a small tube than half a large tube, and then I'm just going to break open a new one. So this is what we ended up with. Once I got it glued on, I screwed it on to one of our risers for a Tidbit tray. And the reason for that is it's much easier to screw the riser into our little assembly before it's attached to the ceramic top than the other way around. For one thing, it gives me a nice long handle so that I can hold it when I'm gluing it. And also, when you're turning a piece like this, remember, 2 pieces were glued together. You want to hold the one that's actually making contact with the threads. You don't want to turn it by the washer. The washer is glued to the reducer. You want to turn it by holding the reducer, which you can't do when the reducer is inside here. So, and that's I have good reasons for doing it this way. Now, if you take a look at this, you'll see that we have this little unglazed rim that we've talked about before. When porcelain is glazed and fired, it's put on a pallet and then popped into the kiln, and that should be our word for the day. Kiln, K-I-L-N. Very easy. It is just a high temperature firing oven for ceramics. It's not the word or the meaning of the word. It's like patina. It's the way you pronounce it. The N in kiln is silent. And if you hang around with ceramists and you say kiln, oh, they're going to be all over you. So let's get our highbrow pronunciations down pat. So the good thing for us is this little rim that doesn't have the glaze on it. It has the raw, unglazed porcelain. It's going to be rougher with more texture. And that means the glue is going to have something to grab onto because, let me show you, as you can see, it's going to overlap a little bit on our unglazed surface. Now, if I had done a smaller washer, I could sort of set it right in here, but this is all glazed, and I would rather have the rougher surface for the glue to adhere to. So we're putting it on. Now, it's not as simple as, okay, let's put it on and let's go. The reducer is machined. It's been precision threaded because it's designed not for these inexpensive Tidbit tray risers, but for the screws that are on top of the lamp harp that hold the finial. So that's a precision part. This lamp or Tidbit tray riser is not. It's not machined. It's not die cast. It's sort of, it's formed in a mold. So if you look at the screw portion of any of your Tidbit tray risers, you're going to see a seam on each side, and because that's how it's made, not precision parts. The seams will get a little bit of excess material. They call that flash, and sometimes it will affect the way it sets into the threads. And if I hold this up, let me try it over here. See if you can see. Probably do better like that. It's not perfectly perpendicular. So when we pop it on, the First thing we're going to do is move it around until we have it centered, and then we're going to move it around until our riser is roughly perpendicular to our tidbit tray topper. You're just going to eyeball that. It's not like you need to bring, a level in to check it out. But remember that when you have parts that are not precision parts, one part will be askew a little this way, the other a little that way, and you can usually take advantage of those variations and line it up so that the high part of one part is resting against the low part of another. And consequently, you can get something that's actually pretty good. So once I have that done, we're back to our E6000. And all I'm going to do with this is put dabs on this portion where the washer is going to meet. So dab, oh yeah, I know, get Nikki. And we've got 4 contact points, so that's what we're going to do. And now this is pretty gloopy, so it will hold it pretty well. Like a spoon in a bowl full of molasses, that kind of pretty well. But we can still move it, turn it. Remember, it takes a long time for this to set up. So all I have to do with this now is set it aside. When I come back for it in 3 days, this is my tidbit tray topper. Now, as you can see, what we have is a stack of boxes. And you know what that is. This is the Sunni tidbit tray. This is the It's Not Hoarding If You Keep It in a Pretty Box tidbit tray topper. So I am going to get some plates that complement this color scheme. This is going to be the topper, and we're going to make a tidbit tray out of it. So we can set this aside. Let's see where we're going to... Oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to set you. Oh, there we go. You're sitting upright. Now we're going to take a look at one more tidbit tray topper challenge. Now, I'm sure some of you will remember this. I had a little watering can, and it's a souvenir from Munich. The bottom plate, which is Cottage Garden, and it's marked England. And here we have a farm wife holding a basket of vegetables with flowers on the border, and that's Britannia. And I decided I was going to combine these pieces and make an international gardening themed tidbit tray. And the key to it, of course, is our little German watering can. Oh, and let me also mention, when I choose the plates, I look at things like the color scheme. And our can is white with red, blue, green, and a little brown. So when I was grabbing plates, I was looking for white with red, blue, green, and a little brown. And I'll take this apart and snap some pictures so that you can see the plates laying out flat. And once again, red, blue, green, and a little brown. And then I wanted the international gardening theme on top of it. But that's how I choose the trays for my tidbit tray. That's how I choose the plates. So we need to affix that watering can. And in order to do that, I'm going to take the top riser off tidbit tray. So here we go. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is put one of the little plastic washers on. Now, you know we use the plastic washer in order to prevent the metal from scraping right up against the ceramics. And then I have another washer, That's going to go on the inside. And I have a nut. This is just a nut that happens to be the same size as the screw on my Tidbit tray, which is that 1/8 of an inch. So, nut. These are just long-nosed tweezers. They're not medical tweezers, they're sort of scientific tweezers. They're used for electronic parts or, handling electronic parts. That's what they're used for. Now, I've got the nut right in the jaws of the tweezer. So, I'm going to pop this right through my little hole, and then I am going to attempt to drop my little washer over top of that. And it's actually pretty easy. I just stick my finger in and smush it around till it's over the top. And it is, in fact. So, all I'm going to do is simply get this started. Just get the nut onto the screw portion of my Tidbit tray holder until it grabs. There we go. Because these are tweezers. These are not pliers. They won't hold it. You could probably do this with needle nose pliers too. But in fact, I think the last time I did it with needle nose pliers. But I thought I'd show you the tweezer method. All I'm doing is holding the nut still with my finger. Because remember, the Tidbit trays, you just want them finger tight. Now you want them good and tight so they don't go, rocking around, but still not wrench tight. You want this finger tight. Somebody might actually want to take this apart at some point. So this is what we've got. Now we'll go right back and we're reassembling our tray. So this is our lower riser, our little plastic washer. This is the next plate with the little plastic washer around the top. And all I'm doing now is screwing our little watering can onto it. And there's our watering can. Now I will adjust the plates so that the plates are all facing in the appropriate direction. And this is it. It's our international gardening tray. Just that easy here. There. Just that easy. Which shows you can use all kinds of things. This little guy can be a Tidbit topper. Orphan salt and pepper shakers work very well, but I've been looking at miniature children's tea set pieces, because often the children's tea set pieces are teapots or saucers or little teacups, things that will match up with the plates that you're using for the Tidbit tray. This one I get a kick out of. I think this one is great. But for a lot of people who don't have an interest in gardening, their focus is going to be on having, a tea tray, and having a little tiny teapot on top of the tea tray might be very attractive to them. And I've been hoping that I can persuade some of you to start making tea trays as a little side hobby, because they are selling well. They sell very nicely on eBay, on Etsy, and it's cheap, it's easy. As I've said before, your first 2 Tidbit trays, if you sell them for $30 a piece, will pay all your startup costs. It will pay for your Dremel and your Dremel bits. It will pay for the Tidbit tray hardware, and it will pay for $1 a plate for, your first little batch of plates. And then after that, at $30, you're easily making $25 a tray in profit once you get into the swing of working with the Dremel, you can drill those holes through well, depending upon the density of the porcelain, usually in less than 5 minutes. So a 3-tiered tray, 15 minutes, a 2-tiered tray, 10 minutes, and a $25 profit for 10 minutes of your time. Hard to beat that. And believe me, if I had thought about that before I went to college, I never would have bothered. I would have just said, give me that Dremel. I'm going to make money doing this. So I'm hoping still that some of you will. And that's one of the reasons people have asked me, where do you sell your Tidbit trays? I haven't, because I want to encourage you folks to do it. And I don't want to be competing with you. That's not the goal of this channel is, I compete with you. No, I want to help you establish your own business, not, just go head to head and try to, wipe you out in one of those corporate takeover sort of things. No. This is about getting you started. So, but if I don't start seeing your Tidbit trays on eBay and Etsy, I am going to list mine. That's my threat. So let's get going, because this is a quick, easy, just fun way to make something interesting that people will buy, and they will give you a decent price for it. No, it's not like the lottery. Nobody's going to pay you $5,000 for a Tidbit tray. Nevertheless, a $25 profit for 10 or 15 minutes of your time. It's a good return on your money. So give it some thought. Let's see what you are doing in terms of Tidbit trays. Oh, and by the way, here is, I got some Japanese, China, part of a China service, and started making a couple of these pieces. And again, they will sell. These are not $30 Tidbit trays. These are going to sell for less. These will sell. So please consider it. What does a cup and saucer cost at a thrift store? All right. Now, on our way out, once again, we're going to do all of our pictures so that you can see the reducer, the washer, our little Tidbit tray topper. Hopefully this will be firm enough when I take the pictures so that I will be able to show him upright, pretending to be a Tidbit tray topper. And tomorrow we are going to do yet another project video, and hopefully next week we may get back into the swing of things and mix them in with some informational videos, especially since I'm very behind on haul videos because of this, and I really got some interesting things that I want to show you. So we'll see. Well, maybe we'll do a haul video tomorrow. Maybe I don't know. I'll sleep on it. All right. Have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow with either a haul video or another project video. But believe me, they're just going to keep on coming because the project videos are really piling up. Have a great day. Remember, Tidbit trays, lamp finials. Oh, by the way, another little side business, little $1 or $2 figurines from the dollar store. Pop your little reducer in, custom lamp finial. People pay a lot more money for lamp finials than they pay for little Goodwill figurines. So keep that in mind too. We are going to find ways to put you all in business. All right. Watch the pictures. We'll see you tomorrow.